That's Jefferson. Climbs the ladder. Oh, my goodness. Come
Oh, sorry. I was checking out MangoneFans.com. He was pubbing that earlier today. It looks pretty good, Mangone. You're doing all right. I don't know where you got a black tank top from. I don't know who wears those anymore in the year 2023, but congratulations. Great to see you. And great to see DC and Steve Boynton. Believe it or not, DC, I'm happy to see you today. Boynton's got the DC flag sitting there on his shirt. I don't know if he did it for you or whatever, but it's a really badass shirt. And we got DC here who's repping the Braves hat again. I just wonder if he's starting AJ Smith-Shawver tonight. Is this going down? Because I know Boynton's all over the guy.
Yeah, we'll get into that. I think he's an interesting play. Braves and Mets. What a game they played last night. I didn't get to watch most of it, but certainly caught the highlights. And we're kind of talking about the high totals in Atlanta against, it was Strider and Verlander last night. The night before it was Scherzer and who's
Morton, I think.
Morton, yeah, right. Four good pitchers, and we saw like a combined, I think, 33 runs across those two games. Similar weather in Atlanta tonight, so a lot to talk about there. And I'm with you, Holden. Kind of shaken today. I didn't expect to see Mariah Mangone on the timeline, but there he was, and very entertaining stuff.
Oh, I mean, listen, if Mangone's going to have
if you get it, you get it, right? I mean, not everybody will, but it was.
Yeah. Oh, I totally get it. And if Mangone's going to have a rival, I don't know why he would choose Madison, because he's not winning. I mean, even if he wins his bet, he loses. There's no winning.
He needs to tweet at an X or Big T 45 times the next 2 days, and then he can get on.
Is that what it is? What's going on, Boynton? How's your Friday treating you? Have you started drinking yet? What are we drinking here? White Claws again?
I've just got some noons in the old Run Pure.
Hi, man.
Go. Not going out tonight because I'm going to the early White Sox game tomorrow. So going to lay low. Going to watch the NBA game tonight. Watch this baseball slate, sweat it out, take a gummy, and just going to hang out.
Wow!
So. Look at that discipline from Steve. He's got
shaping up.
A party date tomorrow morning, so he's staying in tonight. Wow,
that's the current plan, DC. We'll see who if someone texts me during the show.
If Evan Silva texts you, you're going out. I'll say that.
Probably. Is that what's going on? Oh boy. Evan Silva's your boy. Do you and Connor Allen and the rest of the fantasy guys just get together at bars and talk bullshit, or no?
Yeah. Saw Connor last week. Saw a couple guys on Wednesday for game 3, the bar down the street. So, yeah, it's kind of wild how many guys in the industry do live in the Chicago area.
Yeah. Really in Denver, man. Leviton lives 2 blocks away from me. I still haven't seen him, but he's here. And then we got DC up there. Who else is on our team from Denver? Mangone. We just got everybody here in Denver. We got a lot of people in Chicago. Enough of this bullshit. Hit the like button. We need that. Where's Bill Miner? There you are, Bill. Bill's always just shouting us out. Hit the like button when you come in. Good mojo. We've got the NBA Finals tonight, so we got Showdown coming up a little bit after the show ends. Tony and JSU are going to bring it home. NBA Showdown at 7:15 to 8:15 leading up to tip-off. So that's going to be huge. We got our live show just for members. And if you're not a member yet, you can even check it out just for a week. 33% off weekly or monthly packages. Your first payment, Summer 33. Summer 33. Yeah, I used to live in Chicago. Gary does not wait. Why does Gary wish he lived in Chicago, Jacob? That's where I grew up. I absolutely love Chicago, though. There's nothing better than Wrigley. I thought Fenway was for a little bit, but then they won the World Series, and the crowd isn't as electric anymore. Before the Red Sox won the World Series, those fans were next level. Then they won, and they got cocky, and they're like, "Yeah, we're going to win one every 5 years."
Also, there isn't much around Fenway. It's just kind of off by itself in Boston.
Yeah, there is. There's a ton by Fenway. There's bars and there's so much stuff down there. Dude,
not much.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
There's cask and flagon, and that's about it.
Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Absolutely no idea what you're talking about right now. None, Boynton. Anyways, there's a lot of dudes that are out. Eloy's out tonight. Mountcastle, Josh Lowe with the Rays. Springer's out. Kiermaier's out. Glaber's out. And how about Chris Sale with a 60-day? I mean, dude, this guy might be done. Just stick a fork in him at this point. Seriously. DC,
Really?
you can't stay on the field.
It's really hard to come back. Like, you don't sit out 3 years of pitching for no reason, right? Like, you've got all these injuries. What does he have now? Like a separated muscle from the shoulder blade?
It's
or
not
crazy?
good.
Not good.
His
Sounds
arm's
like
falling
it.
off.
Sounds bad.
His arm is literally falling off.
Yeah,
So
that's what
60-day
it sounds
deal.
like.
Yeah.
He was like pretty awesome for like what 4, 5, 6 starts there in a row.
Yeah.
And then kind of the inevitable happened. I don't wish an injury on anyone, but probably going to happen to James Paxton, I would imagine.
No, don't kill Big Maple. That's messed up, DC. Come
I mean,
on, dude.
I'm sorry.
Can't say that.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to give the truth to the people. I've got a pretty good history of
That's not the truth. That's
burying
burying
pitchers in the ground before it happens. It's helpful for DFS to know it's coming. So there you go.
Shout out to Mr. Donk. Where I come from, donk is not a very nice word. It's not happening anytime soon either, Mr. Donk. So sorry about that. I'm not sorry about that. I hope you have a horrible weekend. That's good mojo from me. And then we got, who's back, who just got called up? Kanan Elijah Smith and Jigba, whose brother plays for the Seahawks, wide receiver with the Seahawks. And we're only like 90-something days away. So I'm pretty excited about this. This is going to be great. Stevers, is that what we have here? New addition for members, MLB dong calls? What does that entail? That doesn't show like not showing your dong, right? What the hell is that, Steve?
So there's a list on the site now. We've been talking about it behind the scenes for a couple of weeks now. It's got all the coordinators and their home run call for the night. Little fun page that we've added to the site for members only.
Okay. Where do I
Holden,
find
is it fair for me to be moderately concerned that I was not involved in this discussion and had no idea this was happening? I feel a little left out on the Don calls.
You just have to just go with it is the one thing I've learned. You're not going to be involved in everything. You've got a lot going on in your life, I'm sure. If you don't worry about it. Listen, this do you really want to be in that competition with Uncle T? Uncle T's packing about 13 down there. So you tell me if you want to be in the contest, go.
Baker's dozen.
What? He's got a baker's dozen down there?
Uncle T with the baker's dozen.
What a show. Love it. Love it. Okay. So again, we got the NBA finals tonight. A lot of people are excited about that. And that's about it. Oh, Mr. Donk. Now he's being nice to me. Yeah, okay, Mr. Donk. Or he must be from DC. Anyways, 13 game slate. Lots going on. Guys, do we have anything to worry about as far as the weather goes? I'm seeing a little bit of smoke out east still, but it looks like they're going to play all these games. I have not seen anything that's going to scare us. DC, Boynton, anything?
I think somewhat moderate rain concerns on the East Coast games, but I do think they're all going to play. Is the take right now, but of course we'll revisit that if we need to.
Okay, very good. Again, Mangone fans, we have Madison with a video up. Those two are going head to head. Kush the Mush taking the day off today. Boynton, yesterday, DC and JSU were confused. They didn't understand if you really should bet against Kush the Mush or not. I'm telling you right now, if you bet against Kush the Mush, you're going to win money long term. Have you bet against him yet?
I've faded Kush the Mush in every video so far. So
well, you've lost money then. It's coming though. Don't worry about it.
We need to keep posting.
Yeah, I'll keep posting. We'll get you one for game number 5, and we'll see how that goes. Mr. Donk wants to know the deal with this rookie Braves pitcher. We'll get into that. But first, we got to go up top, guys, and talk about the top tier pitching. Usually, I think tonight maybe we'll go 8K and above. We'll go down to Darvish. Who else is up there? Sonny Gray's at 9.5 at Toronto again. without Springer in the lineup. So that's interesting. Ohtani's on the mound. Luis Castillo is going up against him. Christian Javier, and then Garrett Cole at the top. So 8K and above on DK. DC, what do you got tonight? Who are you leaning toward, if any of these guys?
Yeah, I think I don't see like a true must-play pitcher on this slate. I guess makes sense for a 13-game slate, a lot of ways to go. I'll start with 10K and above. I know we'll get to the 8K and above, all that. To me, the 10K and above pitcher, rather, I think Shohei Ohtani stands out above Garrett Cole, above Christian Javier. I've talked about a lot on this show. I've been off the Garrett Cole train for pretty much since the middle to end of April. The swinging strike rate has way down, the strikeout rate way down, like metrics that, even when he was pitching okay, kind of signaled a downturn for Garrett Cole. Talk about him. I do think the enforcement of the tacky stuff, sticky stuff, whatever you want to call it, on the fingers has reduced Garrett Cole's effectiveness. And, I mean, he hasn't scored more than 22 fantasy points since April 27th. It's currently June 9th. Like, he's just not a must-play at that 11K. So I'm kind of off Garrett Cole. Against Boston, they got a bunch of lefties. Just don't want to go there myself. I know other people feel differently. That's how I feel. Christian Javier, a little bit more interest in him, but I don't love the matchup on the road against Cleveland, who is not a scary offense. But when you're paying 10.8K for a pitcher, you need strikeouts, and a lot of them to pay off typically. And Cleveland does a good job of putting the ball in play. So a little bit lukewarm on Javier as well. That brings us to Ohtani, sitting there at 10.4K coming off. Was that his worst start of the year last time out against Houston? I think so. It might have been.
Felt like it. Watching it.
Yeah. The crazy thing about Ohtani, he has some crazy splits. Like, if you compare his pitching career everywhere else compared to in Houston, like, a lot of his blow-up starts have come in Houston. And, I mean, I don't think it's out of pocket to suggest maybe Houston has something going on there at home against Ohtani, considering they were literally, admitted to cheating and like picking up signs out. I'm not saying that's what they're doing, but the numbers are so stark for Ohtani in Houston that I kind of wonder if they got something going on there. Regardless, it's a tough matchup there, of course, and willing to kind of put that one aside for Ohtani, who has been, dominant for most of the year. Like, he's kind of come back a little bit to the pitcher we thought he was in the past, where it's like extreme highs, right? You can get 15 strikeouts on any given night, but then can lose control. He's like a little bit more back to that than he was at the beginning of the year. I still think he is maybe the most dominant pitcher left in baseball, with obviously the DeGrom injury, from a start-to-start basis. And at home against Seattle, who strikes out a lot, he is my number one guy above 10K. So absolutely love Ohtani. I'm going to pull an audible, Holden. I'm going to throw it back to Steve to discuss those top three guys, and then we'll go lower after that.
Whoa, hold on a second. This is mind-blowing. All right, Steve, do you throw Garrett Cole out of the mix immediately? What are your thoughts on him tonight?
Yeah, DC and I have kind of been hand in hand with the Cole fade for the majority of the season. Saw the swing strike rate wasn't there early in the season, and it hasn't really come back.
Sorry, I had to throw Phallic up here. He's just talking shit to DC.
I was responding in the chat. I'm like, we know you live in Houston. Take a lap, Phallic.
Okay. It's a good Friday show already. All right.
I'm with DC on Ohtani. I think he'll be the highest owned pitcher, as he should be. I watched that Houston start. Just didn't have the slider at all. Didn't look good from the start. Kind of grinded through 6 innings as it was. So yeah, perfect bounce back spot here against Seattle, who we've been using right-handed pitchers against all season. 4th highest strikeout rate, bottom 8 team in both weighted runs created plus and ISO in the split. Great bounce back spot. I actually really like both pitchers in that game. I like Luis Castillo a bunch. The velocity has ticked up over his last couple starts. It's up over 97 as the average. He was pretty unlucky to not get the win in that Rangers start I think it was last Friday. Pitched really, really well, looked great. I think that's a low-scoring pitchers duel out west. So those are my two favorite pitchers up top for sure. I do prefer Javier to Cole just because of the strikeout upside. Javier hasn't had a ton of strikeouts the last couple outings, but has still maintained, that low 20s DK score. I think if, at any point he can spike for that 10 strikeout game where he gets you the 30 plus. I'm going to have some Javier in my 20. No Cole for me. No Sonny Gray at Toronto. Still don't trust Dylan Cease. The regression monster has hit him really hard this season. And I think 8K and above, I think my pool is Ohtani, Castillo, Javier. Interested to hear DC's thoughts on Tyler Wells. I think that he ends up being higher owned than I would like for a pitcher of the caliber of Wells, who has been good, but obviously not a guy that you want to play if he's going to be 30, 40% owned.
What do you think, DC?
Yeah, just waiting for your cue. I don't like to talk until you give me the go-ahead, Holden. Tyler Wells, I think, is fine.
What are you talking about?
At 8,300. I don't mind him. Just a general strategy point, I do think would be curious to hear your thoughts on this, Steve. But it seems like these pitchers that are fairly close up top, right? Like if you look at these guys, it seems like with the rise of projections across the industry, like most slates, the field gravitates toward one guy, right? Like we all agree Ohtani clearly in the best spot, but like I feel like 5 years ago, the ownership between these guys would have been pretty spread out. Now it gets more and more concentrated. And I do think if you can find guys that are lower owned, lower projected, like you'll get them even lower owned than you would have in the past. So just a, I don't know, kind of a random thought there. I like the Castillo call. Dylan Cease, I've been off him all year long. Been very public about that. Kind of tempted here against Miami, who I think is a really good matchup for him, and we know the upside is there for him, right? Like he's a guy I don't want to play when he's chalk. I don't want to play when he's super expensive. I don't want to play in bad matchups, but I do kind of like this matchup for Cease. So I think he is at least somewhat interesting. And I don't know if you have other ownership projection numbers, Steve, but I'm seeing Yuri Perez as I load up SaberSim here at 1%.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean,
You like that?
Okay. How could you not be enticed by that? I know his max pitches on the year is 88. He hasn't gone more than 5 innings in any start, but I don't think he is like hard capped at 88. I think he could go into the 90s. And it's not like the White Sox have really done anything all year long, have they? I mean, this is a terrible offense. They lost Eloy Jimenez, probably their second best hitter. Looking at this lineup, looks pretty damn good for Yuri Perez in terms of matchup. Wind blowing in Chicago, and a pitcher who, I mean, this guy's been like 40, 50% owned on some slates. The talent, he's throwing 98, 99, like 20-year-old, 6'8" dude, like all the talent in the world. I have to take a shot on Yuri Perez at 1% ownership at 8,900. It seems like an amazing GPP play to me. So he might be going in the cores, honestly, at that ownership. So, yeah, I'll throw him into the mix as well.
Okay, very good. Let's go down a little bit farther then. We got the Darvish range. We're not playing Darvish, are we? I got into it with JT. I really didn't get into it with JT. I just trolled him in the chat today, and I suckered him into it. We've got Josiah Gray at Atlanta. We don't want to mess with that, I'm sure. What about Kikuchi? Talk to me about Kikuchi, DC.
Yeah, he's the other guy with Shohei Ohtani in my core at the moment. Might be replaced by Yuri Perez. Kikuchi has had good strikeout stuff all year. I do think It's kind of seems like he's turning a corner command-wise, stuff-wise a little bit. And, I mean, he's just a really tough pitcher to kind of predict from start to start. It more depends on what he's bringing to the table than the specific matchup. But the Twins offense has just been brutal for the last 3 weeks. Like, so many injuries. Even their good hitters aren't doing anything. Carlos Correa, did he hit his first home run of the season yesterday? I mean, what does he have? No, he has 7 home runs, but his OPS is 681. I was off there. Shows you I've been off the Twins. Credit to me. But this Twins offense in general is just absolutely terrible. They haven't been putting up runs against anybody, and Kikuchi can get strikeouts. So I do think he is interesting at 7,100 if you're trying to get access to an expensive stack. Like specifically the Braves obviously are expensive at the top. So Kikuchi does allow you to do that. Not a safe play. I wouldn't, consider him in cash games or anything, but I think he's going to get his fair share of strikeouts and should pitch okay here. So he is my favorite cheap option. I don't see much below Kikuchi that I'm personally willing to use outside of course, question of the day, AJ Smith Shawver, I don't have a strong take on him. I wish I did. So he's 20
real quick. Can I call a timeout? Because I saw Steve throw the prop in there. All right. So the kid was
I'll give Steve first crack at AJ Smith Shawver then. Yeah.
Yeah. The kid was stretched out, and then his last start he only went a couple innings. Did they know he was calling him up? Why did that last only 2 1/3?
They used him last Sunday out of the bullpen through 2 1/3, and then they brought in the closer, I believe.
Okay.
But yeah, in the minors, he was fully stretched. His last outing in the minors, he threw 7 innings. He's on full rest here. I expect full go. This is a guy who hasn't been pitching for long, but man, he has really ascended the ranks quickly. He's 20 years old. Electric arm, looks great. He's going up against the Nats, who are obviously awful, especially against right-handed pitching. They don't strike out a ton, but this guy's swing and miss stuff is just really good. I trust the arm. The price is awesome. I'm definitely playing him in my 20. I think he's going to be low owned just because people are going to click the box score and see that he only threw 39 pitches on Sunday. I think he's full go here. He had, I think it was 45 strikeouts and 30 innings in the minors. I believe in the arm. I think he's going to be really good. I like that this is not his debut. He kind of knocked off the jitters in that first outing last Sunday. He's at home here. They're a big favorite. So, you get the good possibility of the win bonus. Really like him here. Actually debating playing him in my single entry team. It's just tough, right? Because there's so many good arms up top. Like I really like Show and I really like Luis Castillo. But yeah, so that's probably where I'll go in my single entry. But I'm going to have well more than the field on Smith-Shawver here. I do kind of like Logan Allen at 7.7. This is a guy that we've used in certain spots this season, the young arm for Cleveland. He's been really good in certain starts. He was a bit shaky in the White Sox start, but they were seeing him twice in 5 days. Since then, he's pitched well at Baltimore. He had 10 strikeouts in 7 innings. Fully stretched, and Houston just lost Jordan to the IL. So weaker lineup for Houston overall. The back half of that lineup is Abreu, McCormick, Pena, who's slumping, hitting 7th, Diaz, and Maldi. So they're starting both catchers. Dubon's leading off. Weaker lineup, and as it has been all week in Cleveland, really good pitching weather. We've seen low scores in Cleveland this week. So I think Logan Allen will be pretty low owned here. I see under 10% on Sabre, and I'm definitely going to have him in my pool for 20. The guy that I think you could play that was my last X out was Adrian Hauser, DC, just because he's at home against Oakland. We've seen him put up, between 15 and 20 a couple times in the last month in pretty easy spots. I just don't know that I want to roster a guy on a 13-game slate that, like, if everything breaks right, he gets you 18, right? So I did X him out late. My pool for pitching ended up being Ohtani, Castillo, Javier, Yuri Perez, Logan Allen, and Smith Shawver. So it's those 6 for me.
Okay. DC, you want to round out the pitching here? I know I jumped in to talk about Smith Shawver, but can we go any lower here today?
No, that pretty much rounds it out for me. Steve obviously talked about Smith Shawver. Many people in the chat have accused isn't the right word, noted that I often do play these young prospects that come up. I mean, the truth is they're underpriced, right? I mean, you get these a lot of these guys are like 4 or 5K, and they're like Ellie De La Cruz, a hitter example, but the pitchers are examples too, where it's like these are like 7, 8, 9K pitchers, and you get them at 4 or 5K. Of course, I'm going to be in on them. I think they generally go lower owned than they should. I do think Smith Shawver is probably better than a $6,500 pitcher. I'll also say I thought I would be higher on him today than I am. The stuff in that first outing didn't look that great to me. He was kind of rushed through the minor leagues. Like we said, he's still 20 years old now. I mean, Braves manager, who I do trust, and I do trust the Braves development in general, has like sort of compared his rise to Spencer Strider's. The stats don't really back that up, and I don't think the stuff backs that up either with Shawver, just to me. So I don't think he's a bad play at all. At 6,500, I will probably have some exposure to him myself, but I don't think he is a sure thing whatsoever. So what do you have as his ownership, Steve, on Smith Shawver? You have a number there?
Saber has like 2%.
Okay. Well, I'm in at 2%. Absolutely. I think it'd be higher than that. I do think I wouldn't worry about the 39 pitches he threw on June 4th. I think you should expect, 80 to 90, I think, for Smith Shawver, assuming he's pitching decently. Seems like a more realistic outcome to me. So I wouldn't worry about the pitch count. And I am in absolutely at 2%. But other pitchers down here besides him, I don't see a ton to love. So for a huge slate, kind of a tight pitching pool for me. Love Ohtani, Kikuchi. I'm growing on Yuri Perez, partly due to the extreme low ownership. And then I think Smith Shawver down there is a good play as well. So, yeah, pretty tight pitching pool today. You can go to other guys for sure. We've talked about some of them. But, I think those 4 guys are the main ones I'm looking at.
Any final thoughts here, Steve, in pitching? Or are we ready to move? Just as far as Logan Allen goes, no Jordan. So it's you take that big bat out there in the middle. I think I'm going to lock Logan Allen in there.
Yeah, he's a good young arm. He's done well, especially at home. And I think that he's going to get overlooked in that range. I think everyone's going to click on Tyler Wells, who we didn't bring up much here, DC. I think Wells comes in as the second highest owned pitcher on the slate. And there's so many options that after Ohtani, I'm not really that concerned that the guys that I have are going to be over-owned. So I'm just playing the guys that I like, and we'll go from there.
All right. We do have a question here from Don Play, who always asks us about totals usually, but today he wants a money line play. I mean, guys, I might have to go back to the Super Whalecock play of the day here. That's all I'm saying. I would take the Braves plus 3.5 at minus 550. So that'll be good, Don. Just make sure you take the Braves at plus 2.5 at minus 550. Any thoughts on that there, DC? Don't really do that, Don. That's a horrible bet.
The most interesting thing is I went to a comedy show last night, and the headliner, his main joke was about the size of whale cocks. And
Was it really?
it was, yes.
And what was the punchline?
That was the big payoff.
Yeah, it wasn't that great.
It wasn't a good.
The undercard better than the main event last night, but it was just interesting to hear you bring that up because it was fresh in my mind. Yeah. But in terms of a money line play today, I think this. We could make this a regular segment, just joking around, giving our favorite kind of bet of the day.
Well, then I got to bet it, and I only put NBA bets in today, so let's figure something out here.
I like the Dodgers -110 in Philly. I like that.
Against Ranger Suarez?
Mm-hmm.
All right, good. Let's go. Let's go. All right, Steve, half a unit, Dodgers. Let's go. Good job.
Dodgers, we'll get to it, but best team in baseball against left-handed pitching.
Why are they only 110? That doesn't make sense.
Alternate run line to win by 2 or more against Dylan Cease, who I think is extreme boomer bust. And then I think Yuri Perez. I could see this start going either way for him, but I do think he's got a chance to shut down this White Sox team. So I want kind of the big plus number on the Marlins would be my money line play of the day.
Phallic. Now you're not going to see this. It's just too small, kind of like your cock. But Phallic, I did have something to ask him about FanDuel before we were done, so of course I can. And you know what, DC? It doesn't have to be a 1 minute thought. It can be a 10-second thought, a 2 minute thought. Can I get you to give 1 minute thought on FanDuel, somewhere around there?
Yeah, Phallic's thought was that Ohtani is going to be super chalk, and I certainly believe Mr. Kevin Phallic when he says that. And I do think this is a slate where eating a super chalk pitcher might not be the best idea. As much as I like Ohtani, I just think there are other pitchers that are going to have good games. Yeah. Sign me up for some Yuri Perez. That's going to end up being my guy tonight at the super low ownership. You can get a nice discount there. And I'm a believer and not a believer in this White Sox lineup. So, yeah, Yuri Perez, going to ride with him tonight for a lot of my lineups.
All right, very good.
I pulled up your Marlins reverse run line. Marlins -1.5 is +175. So you get some good odds on that.
There we go. That's what we want.
So, wow. Don't go to my Rangers run line tonight, though. We're not doing that one. We're not doing it. If you want to take the Rangers, because it's been a cash cow this year, if you want to take the Rangers, just take them at +150. That's all I'll say. All right, that's the betting segment's done. Eric, back in the A's. I like it. That is a super. That's not a super. That's just a laying it out on the table and saying, this is what I got. I dare you to do it. I like that. Not bad. Like button would be great. We're looking for 500 today, 500 likes on this Friday. And then our promo is Summer 33, 33% off your first payment of a monthly or even a weekly plan. If you haven't checked this out, it's time to do it, okay? 33% off, Summer 33. You get DC's scored tonight, Steve Boynton scored tonight, a whole bunch of other guys scored tonight. You'll actually get a chance to check out the NBA Showdown show. So that's JSU and Big T giving you the winners for tonight's NBA Finals game, Heat Nuggets game 4 down there in Miami. So that'll be the big one tonight, Summer 33. That is the promo code. We're going to go through offense now. And, since I'm getting different at pitching now with Perez and Allen, I think I can just jam in all the dudes.
You're joining me on the Yuri Perez train, Holden?
Oh, come on. You talked me into Yuri Perez. It did not take a lot of work to talk me into
Yuri Perez. I got to jump off, so that's disappointing.
Who was it yesterday that was on with us? Esterio Ruiz or Yuri Perez? I don't remember who worked with us yesterday, but it was fun. I don't know, but good job with that. Let's move on. Offense, Kansas City, Baltimore. We messing with this thing, DC, with Lynch and Wells? Do you want to pick a bat or two from here? Just pass.
We think Wells is going to be super popular, right? So I do think, like I always often talk about, trying to pick off home runs against the super popular pitchers, I do think is a long-term profitable strategy. And this looks like a pretty good place to do it because you want lefties against Wells, you want power, and lefty power plays well in Baltimore. So, yeah, Vinny Pasquantino, MJ Melendez, I think are both pretty good plays. against Wells, specifically Pasquantino, who does pull most of his home runs. Melendez is a big problem. He goes to the big part of the ballpark too often, and it's a big park in Baltimore to that issue. So Pasquantino, my favorite play on the Royals. Baltimore, kind of neutral on them. I'm certainly not playing Daniel Lynch. Don't really know what to expect from him going forward, but I didn't end up on much Baltimore myself.
Okay. Very good. You got anything from this Baltimore game, Steve Boynton?
No bats here for me. I agree with DC on the Royals take. I know Gary likes Daniel Lynch, as a guy whose issue is giving up power to right-handed hitters. Ospar mitigates that pretty well. So, and this Orioles lineup, we talked about it on the Tuesday show, DC. It's getting worse every day. They got Aaron Hicks hitting cleanup now. He was hitting fifth on Tuesday.
God.
He's bumped up to cleanup tonight.
Has he been pretty good since going to Baltimore? I haven't checked the numbers.
He has been, but still. So they're the back half of their lineup pretty weak. No bats for me here on a 13 gamer.
What happened? I mean, Mountcastle's out. Mullins is out. Like that's what we're down to. It's a really good offense, and they just
hot start.
Yeah, it's bad. It's a really good offense too. Let me answer Scary Creations here. I don't know if you're a subscriber or not, but K Phallic talks about it 10 times as much as I do. So hit up Phallic in the chat, and he can answer why that is. It's the month of June too. Boston at the Yankees tonight, guys. Garrett Cole. You know what, DC? If you're against Garrett Cole, would you consider throwing a couple of Boston bats in there tonight?
I don't think it's the craziest thing to do. It's tough on a 13-game slate. You're only going to be super high on a few teams, or else you start to get watered down, and Boston's not one of them for me. But I don't have a problem going against Garrett Cole. He's obviously proven he can give up. How many home runs has he given up in these last 3 or 4 starts? It's been a bunch. And he will be, you'll get leverage. Garrett Cole still will be somewhat popular, and nobody's playing Boston, so I don't mind it from that perspective. The lefties in particular, Verdugo, Yoshida, and Devers, I think are the best plays against Cole. Other side, hard to get excited about the Yankees lineup right now. I don't think I'm going to be stacking them for a while. Frankly, outside of maybe short slates till Judge gets back, which looks like it could maybe be to the All-Star break, honestly. So not playing Whitlock, but not stacking the Yankees either. I'll be under the field on this game in general.
All right. What about you, Steve? Boston and the Yankees.
Yeah, same. This Yankees lineup, man. I think they said yesterday the outfield was what? Bowers, McKinney, and Kiner Falefa. Mm-hmm. That's got to be arguably the worst outfield in the major leagues. So no bats here for me. I'm not playing Cole. I will say Rafael Devers has owned Cole in his career. Bunch of bombs off of him if you want to one off at third base. Interesting series. Not much pop to this Boston Yankees series. Usually that's the talk of the town, especially on a weekend, but just doesn't have that fire right now with Boston kind of scuffling.
Just to add to what you said, Steve, and I know a few people have mentioned this in chat too, but we don't bring up BVP much on these shows, batter versus pitcher stats. They're mostly kind of meaningless. I don't think they're completely meaningless though. And Devers has a monster history off of Garrett Cole, 6 bombs, and that was like pretty much all of them against the prime good version of Garrett Cole. We think he's a little bit less than that now. So Devers does look like an elite one-off. I had somehow forgotten about those BVP numbers. Thanks for the chat. And you, Steve, I did add him to my favorite one-offs tonight. I think he's a pretty elite play at third base. 5,400
too. This guy's been up around 6K before, right? So
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, May 31st, he was 6,100. So his price dropped quite a bit, and it's an interesting matchup tonight. All right, next one to get to is the Doyers at the Phillies. And this is my favorite game tonight as far as offense goes. And it's probably going to be a very popular one, which is why I wanted to go to Yuri Perez and Logan Allen, DC, because the Doyers should be in a smash spot. I love targeting Ranger Suarez. The question is, do you feel comfortable with this team against a lefty? And I just look at Betts and JD Martinez and Chris Taylor, and I say, yes, I am very, very comfortable with these dudes. So maybe you could start with the Dodgers lineup, how to attack it, how to build it. And then is there anybody on the Philly side?
I didn't end up on much of this game personally. I have no problem going to it, honestly. Two really good offenses. Phillies, I think, have underperformed what I would expect them to do going forward. So they are, I think, generally pretty good offense to target. The problem with the Phillies is their underperformance hasn't led to any damn discounts, right? I mean, the prices from the top, starting with Schwarber, 5.6, 4.9, 6.3 for Bryce Harper, 5.6 for Turner, 5.1 for Real Muto. So you're really not getting any discount despite a little bit lack of production from them in general. But still, yeah, Victor Gonzalez opening for the Dodgers. Michael Grove, I don't think he's any good. I think he's absolutely prone to getting blown up. So, yeah, I think the Philly stack, they're going to be low owned. I think they do make a lot of sense. And, yeah, the Dodgers, you can play them against almost anybody. Ranger Suarez, certainly no exception. Again, like I said, not in my top teams tonight, but it would definitely be the offenses that I like better. And, yeah, no problem with anybody going to this game.
All right, hey, Boynton, after you break this game down, Gavitz has a question for you about pitching in the premium chat. So, hey, subscribers, if you got questions, I got the premium chat up. We'll get those questions out there too, just for you. Like button would be great. Dodgers, how are we building the Dodgers tonight, Boynton? Are you even going there?
Yeah, I actually think that they'll be lower owned than you think here, Holden. Everyone was on them all week. Now, I think they go under the radar here with the Coors game, with the Braves, and a couple other spots. Like I mentioned earlier, best team in baseball against left-handed pitching. On the season, they have the lowest strikeout rate, highest weighted runs created plus, and highest ISO. Exact same over the last 2 weeks. This team's just been crushing lefties. The left-handed hitters on their team hit lefties well, Freeman and Muncy. And the rest of the lineup is righties. They do have the rookie Johnny DeLuca in the 8-hole. He's got some pinch hit risk, but showed power in the minors, especially against left-handed pitching. Chris Taylor has actually been really, really good against lefties. If you're playing Dodgers stacks, definitely play Chris Taylor hidden in the 6-hole there. So, yeah, the Dodgers are one of my favorite spots on the slate. The Phillies, I wish they were a bit cheaper. I do like them here, though. The spot is great. The weather, isn't, 90 degrees, but, it's a small park. We've got, like DC said, Victor Gonzalez and then Grove. So nothing to fear in the first, 5-6 innings there. So I do like the Phils here as well.
Okay. We'll move on to our next game now. And that would be the Mets and the Pirates. By the way, can we just talk about the Mets as a team for a second here? It never ends. Like, they're never winning a World Series again. I swear to God, somebody made a deal with the devil in '86. If you can just win game 6 and 7, they're going to do it. This has been an absolute train wreck of a team. What are they, 3 games under 500? And listen, the contract to Verlander and to Scherzer, they're just getting guys that are breaking down now. And that's the big problem. DC, they've got the pieces. Now Alonso is what? He's going to the IL, right? What's wrong with the Mets? The pitching just isn't, it's just not deep enough behind the old guys.
Yeah, it looks like Alonso, they said the hit by pitch from Morton came back negative on the x-rays, but they're saying 3 to 4 weeks. I think he's probably out to the All-Star break at this point, honestly. Yeah. Losing your closer in the World Baseball Classic, like a week before the season or whatever, that really sucked for the Mets. And I thought banking on Verlander continuing pitching well into his age 40 season as an ace. Like, pretty much nobody's ever done that outside of maybe Nolan Ryan, and not really in the modern baseball era. It's just kind of gone south for the Mets. They seem like they're kind of cursed as a franchise. They made the right move, right? They let DeGrom walk.
But
did. Then they signed even older dudes who had even as much. It's like just seemed like a bad move for the Mets. So I do think they'll get it
and
right.
They tried to sign Correa, who's also been hurt.
Yeah, no, for sure. They dodged a bullet on that one. My poor Twins are stuck with Carlos Correa, but I couldn't believe people like picking them to beat the Braves when you look at these rosters before the season. I mean, I'm on the record on that one. Maybe they sneak it into a wild card, but in terms of looking at like their team compared to the Dodgers, the Braves, there's no comparison, in my opinion.
Dude, Lindor, just all these high-priced guys, they're not living up to it again. Yeah. Here's the other thing that people don't realize about New York, if you've never covered anything there, it's all about winning the back page sometimes in the offseason, like the big signings. These owners, they want to be the guys up front, and I kid you not, they do it to get the back page, to get the splash in the offseason, to get the fans all excited, and Mets fans should not be excited right now. Anyway,
one of the 100 million things wrong with New York. There you go.
I was born there, and I got to be honest, I haven't been back since I left the East Coast.
Not a fan of New York City.
I have no desire to go back anytime soon. It's a mess. It's disgusting. Hey, we need JT Hayes to come on to talk about that. Mets Pirates, though. Do we have any plays from this game, DC?
Mets and Pirates, not a ton here for me. I didn't end up on much of this game. Pirates, I think, are a little bit interesting against Tyler McGill, who the Mets claim they have all this rotation depth, but Tyler McGill is not any good. You know what I mean? He's a pitcher to stack against. So I think the Pirates are interesting. Really good hitting weather in Pittsburgh, but the Pirates have burned me more often than not when I've gone that way. So I didn't end up on a ton of either side of this game, honestly.
Okay. What do you got, Boynton? You got anything for the Mets?
Yeah, our guy JT Hayes got me on the Pirates today. The Mets, coming off that series, really burned the bullpen. They don't have much left after McGill here. And like DC said, the numbers on McGill are pretty bad. The surface numbers are not that good, and then the underlying is even worse. The expected ERA near 5 over last month. Just not missing bats and walking a lot of guys. That's not a great combination in the major leagues. You put traffic on the base pass, you're going to give up some 3-run bombs. So, I do like the Pirates here. Jack Sawinski, I think, was my play of the day on Tuesday. Went 0 for 5 in that game. Going back to him here. Captain Jack for the Pirates at home. Ji-Hwan Baez in the lineup. So I am playing some Pirates here against McGill and the reeling Mets with no bullpen.
No bueno, amigos. All right. I am contractually obligated to tell you to hit the like button. Let's do that. So we'll do that. And Greg, listen, dude, stop with the New York City. Again, I can't stand it anymore. I was born there. My dream was to live in New York City then I went back to New York City and it was just awful. JT Hayes is with me. He was actually raised there. There's a lot of people that don't like New York City, man. I'm sorry, Greg. It's in the summertime, it smells like trash. In the wintertime, it smells like trash. It's cold. It's windy. It's disgusting. And it's polluted, besides for the smoke. Summer 33, though, 33% off your first payment of a monthly or weekly subscription will save you enough money to end up buying a Knish or a hot dog on the street there, which is probably $12 now. Anyways, we'll move on to our next.
Can we do an anti-New York City podcast, just no sports at all? Holden?
Dude.
It is my least favorite city in the States.
Is there one? Wow, settle down. Liberal Kansas is my worst. But if you're talking big cities, people more than 12,000, yes. Yeah,
you can't compare New York City to a city with
small town in Kansas.
Fair.
Boston, the people are massholes, but at least it's a beautiful town and there are some nice people in Boston. I live in Denver and I say it's cold in New York City. Dude, it's not humid out here. It's like, you know it, DC. It could be 20 degrees out here and it's not bad.
It's a bad take from Mr. James Sarconi
Yes.
there. The weather in Denver is 100 times better than the weather in New
no
York.
humidity.
It's
No humidity at all.
Not even comparable. Not even comparable.
That's, you know what? That is not a bad idea. I hate New York City podcast. Boynton, are you in?
I hate New York City. So
We got to get JT. Where
I've
are
never
you?
lived there though, so I don't have the takes that you will. But
yeah. I still got an uncle
I've
there.
visited
It's
a
just
bunch.
like, just stay there. I don't even want you coming out of it. Anyways, guys from New York, don't take it personally. Come on, we still love you.
Or do, whatever.
Yeah. No. I still love you. Don't worry about it. Look at this. Even Mangone's chiming in now with his black
Mangone on our side. All right.
tank top. Yeah. Once we got Mangone on our side, we're all set. We're all good there. Whew, we got a lot of games to go. We better hustle, boys, because there's only 41 minutes to lock. Minnesota, Toronto. This game is in Toronto tonight. The Minnesota lineup doesn't look great. There is no George Springer this evening. So, you know what? I'll go to you first, Boynton. Any thoughts on the Toronto game against the Twins?
Yeah, so here's my thoughts here. So DC laid out the argument for Kikuchi. I think that's a fine one. This Twins lineup has been bad, but they are super cheap, and Kikuchi gives up bombs. I think that they work well in the context of a slate with like a double spend at pitcher lineup. You know, like if you want to play Ohtani and Javier, Ohtani and Castillo, something like that. If you look at the prices on these Twins, let me pull it up right now. Their lineup up and down on DraftKings, 2,200, 2,400, 2K, 4,400 for Correa, 29, 27, 38, 23, and 2K. So pretty much about as cheap as you can get up and down. You don't have to 5-man them. They work really well as a secondary stack to get the double spend at pitcher. And you're just kind of hunting bombs, right? So that works well with the mini stack too. So I do have Twins. I can't remember the last time I played Twins though, DC. So it feels weird. Like you said, when you
let me give you a little sneak preview. Your lineup will not be cashing tonight with your Twins.
But they're cheap. All right,
peek behind the curtain from old DC.
They're cheap.
Yeah.
So
we'll be getting $0 back to whatever your contest is.
It's more hunting the bombs against a guy who does cough them up to right-handed bats. So that's my take there.
All right, we'll take it. Nice. I appreciate that. DC, my sense is you're just staying away from this.
Yeah, definitely not playing Twins. Outside of Kyle Garlick, who I do think is a fun play, he'll probably get 0 points. And then, Kikuchi. I'm in on Kikuchi now. I think you can get strikeouts here. This is like kind of a borderline AAA lineup from the Twins. Kikuchi can get Ks on any lineup, and I think he could do it here. So I do like him quite a bit.
The kid's taking a shot at you. At least we have pizza. While DC has pizza rolls in his mom's basement. I will say this: best pizza in the world's in New York. It's the best pizza in the world. And no one knows what a knish is, Greg. No one knows what a knish is. Don't worry about it. They're delicious, though. Absolutely delicious. Whew. More
like
games.
Deep dish here. I don't know.
Like the deep
dish.
Oh, man. Listen, there's something else. High school deep dish. It's just cheese, man. It's just globs of cheese.
Can I get a food take?
What do you want? What do you want it to be? Salad?
I mean, like, it's just so much cheese, though. It's too much cheese.
I like all the sauce. I'm a sauce guy.
The sauce is good. Now we're talking. We could get like a calzone and just fill it with sauce, and it'd be just as good. It'd be better than that. And what's your favorite?
I got to get my food take here.
Yeah, please.
In the year of our Lord 2023, there's no such thing as a regional food. People go to Italy and they're like, "Oh my God, the pasta! You got to try the pasta in Italy." Listen. Plenty of Italian chefs have moved to America. We've still got the same ingredients here in the States that they do in Italy. There's nothing like your your food, just because you're in a country, does not necessarily taste better. And you can transport any food from any region in the world to any other with the same ingredients, the same people. It's globalization is here, and it's all in people's heads when they say that you can only find the best food in the world in one particular region of the world. Any little tiny city, town on earth is capable of recreating a regional delicacy. So there you go.
You don't think the tomatoes in Italy taste better? You don't think the olives
I've never been to Italy, but no.
Taste better? No, you don't? It's amazing.
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Listen, it's all about the ingredients. That's right, Greg. But I don't know, man. I actually used to import deep dish from Giordano's out to Liberal, Kansas back in the day, 25 years ago, because the food was so shitty. So you cannot recreate good food there.
There are definitely cities that have much, much better like restaurants in general. And
yes.
McLongrod's right.
McLongrod's got a good point.
He got you on this one, because now it's all preference, but the North Carolina, Tennessee bullshit, too much vinegar for me. I need Kansas.
I don't like the vinegar.
Texas. I don't like the vinegar either.
The kid is saying that the New York water creates better pizza and bagels.
The New York water used to create better pizza.
I've never heard it.
No. It was a real thing, DC. And it was a real thing. The New York water, we used to take milk jugs of it home back to Virginia when we go up to visit my grandparents.
So stupid as the rest of them. That's not
the water sucks now.
We got to get our guy Poe Degen Stoner a little shout out here. We haven't talked about it today.
Pieces lights that come and go.
Exactly.
You got to be close to a bathroom. You cannot be on a road trip at come and go people, man. There's no way. And then I see people eating hot dogs at 7-Eleven. Like, what the fuck are you doing? I know you probably don't have a lot of money, but you got to do better than that. You got to do better than a hot dog at 7-Eleven. That's going to kill you guys. Houston, Cleveland, a wonderful, wonderful segue here. Jose Ramirez, I'm not so sure he hits 3 dongs against Christian Javier tonight. On the other side, we got a watered down Houston lineup, DC, Cleveland, Houston, one off or two here.
Not really for me. I think you could go to opposite-handed hitters against the starting pitcher. So righties for the Houston Astros, like Bregman, I think is an okay play. Naylor and Jose Ramirez had 3 home runs yesterday, so he's got to be an easy play today. No, not really going to this game much.
Boynton?
Playing both these pitchers, easy pass.
Knishes and bagels. It's the only thing good in New York these days. You're right, crew. There's nothing as good as a New York bagel. DC, there's no fight. The barbecue thing and the bagel thing, I think they got it. They got you there. It's not mental. They just don't do bagels as well the rest of the world.
You keep buying into Big Bagel and what was the other one? Big Pizza, Big Coffee.
And barbecue, yeah. You know what? I guess I don't like New York City, but the food's pretty good there. It's a really what are you doing, Go? That's so freaking gross. I didn't even, what gas station would ever offer that? In all seriousness, dude, that's just awful. Steve, I'm going to you first. You got your DC
shirt
on.
Your stomach a little bit, just reading that.
Yeah, I'm not even looking. I'm looking at my DraftKings lineup right now because I don't even want to think about it. You got your DC shirt on. Washington at Atlanta. Popular stacks here. I know DC's on it. He's all over it. I have not seen your core yet, Boynton, except for I know Shohei Ohtani is in it. Actually, now I see yours. So break down this Braves offense for us, please.
Yeah, so my only concern with the Braves here is the letdown after the Mets series. I think that's the only reason for concern. JoJo Gray has been better this year, has kind of changed his approach, less swing and miss, more contact, trying to give up less bombs. And, it's worked for the most part. But what has crept up lately is the control is really faltered of late. This is a patient Braves team. It's the best hitting weather on the slate. So, yeah, I'm going right back to the Braves here. The bats are hot. I played them all week. They've been good to me. And like we talked about on Tuesday, and what feels like every show, for such an elite offense, they're so easy to stack because the back half of the order is so cheap. The outfielders are cheap. RC is cheap and has been hitting well. We've seen some life from Michael Harris finally. So yeah, Braves, love them here. The Nats bullpen behind Gray is really bad. I know DC points it out every time. No lefties in the pen. So a guy like Rosario, who gets pinch hit for every now and then, is a bit safer. So love the Braves here, and I'm playing Smith Shawver in my 20s, so no Nats.
What's the deal here, DC? You love the Braves too, don't you?
I mean, how can you not love the Braves? Coming through night after night, big performances, and Steve nailed it. I mention it every time I am on a show and will continue to do so. And so the Nationals managed to get a single left-handed reliever in their bullpen. Big advantage for guys like Olsen, Rosario, and Michael Harris, who hit righties much better than lefties. Great matchup against Josiah Gray, and a great matchup that will continue throughout the game with the Nationals' lopsided bullpen. I'm not going to any Nationals players here tonight myself.
DeAndre Swift, Scary Creations. I dare you. I dare you to go number 2. We'll see how that works out for you. Next game on the docket, Oakland, Milwaukee. Is there a little Oakland love tonight, DC? Have you heard it? And have you seen it in the chat?
Oakland love? No.
Yeah, me neither.
Has it been there?
I was just wondering if you did. I haven't, but maybe you did. You've been in it longer today. I've only been in and out. So what do you got?
I do like Ryan Noda. I think he's the one Oakland guy that you want to kind of target as a one-off. He's going to remain cheap, 2,600, big power. I don't know, Steve, if you've seen his underlying metrics. They're pretty damn impressive. And he's still flying under the radar because, he plays for the A's, so he's going to fly under the radar all season. So he's the guy for the A's. And then, the Brewers are my second favorite stack. I called it out first week of the season, stacking against the A's. If you do it every day, you're going to end up in the green more often than not. Tonight, they got something called a Samuel Mole, followed by Luis Medina. And I don't love the Brewers' offense in general, but major league lineups, which the Brewers do have, do damage against the A's minor league pitching staff on a nightly basis. So, I like the Brewers a lot.
How about you, Boyd? Have you heard any A's love today?
I'm on the A's every now and then. I don't have them tonight. It's a 13-game slate. I play the A's on like afternoon 4-gamers and stuff.
Hold on, let me
like the Brewers. Yeah.
You like them?
Go ahead. I was going to say I do love the Brewers here. Joey Wiemer's been really hot. They finally bumped him out of the 9-hole. He's hitting 5th tonight. I like him. Luis Arias is back and still cheap on DraftKings for him. He's usually a mid 4K guy when he's healthy and going. I think that he will pick it up. And DC, what better time to get on track for the season than a home series against Oakland? The roof is open here. So I do like the back half of the lineup. Like Wiemer, the rookie Monasterio, Arias, guys like that. I do like the wraparound a lot on the Brewers side.
Or as AP says, the reach around. He likes the reach around stack.
It's a reach around stack from going forward on RPS.
I'm telling you right now, here's what I'm doing. I'm playing freaking Jace Peterson tonight. I'm playing Big T's boyfriend, Jace Peterson. Basically what is he, 2-2 tonight? He's got the handedness here. Let's go, Jace Peterson. Pretty excited about Jace Peterson.
Is that the Kush Mush play of the day?
That's the Kush the Mush play of the day. So Tony, get him. Yeah, get him out of your player pool, Tony. Make sure he's not in there, please. He actually, dude, he's got some. He's got A's. He loves the A's mini stats. That's fascinating. And it pays off for him. If I play him, it's not going to pay off. That dude plays them, they go off.
Keeping the roof is open. So
the roof is open. Good news. Good news for all of us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games left. We got 27 minutes. All right. Miami and the White Sox. We like Perez. We like Cease. DC, do you just say move on?
I'm not playing hitters here. It would be the Miami side that I'd be more likely to play, but they don't have much speed against Cease. The thing I want against speed is lefties that can run, and I don't see a lot there. So not on Miami, and obviously Yuri Perez. Given the ownership, my favorite pitcher on the slate. Not going to these White Sox bats. Pretty easy pass for me on this game.
Boynton.
Same deal for me. No bats here. I do prefer the Miami side. They have, let me double check our hand in this chart. I think they've been hitting better against right-handed pitching up to fourth actually on the season in weighted runs created plus, which is really surprising. But guys like, I know De La Cruz is hot right now. Arise is still hitting 400. I think he's, hovering right around there. Actually going to the game tomorrow. I think I'm going to see Sandy DC. So I'm not sure if I can click him for the 15th straight start.
You talk about going to Cubs games. You talk about going to Cubs and White Sox games more than I talk about my girlfriend. Now the difference is, this is the appropriate place. Right. This is a baseball show, so he says that, but he does talk about going to games more. Congratulations, Steve. This is probably the first time ever I haven't been to a baseball game by June. I just haven't been to a game this year.
Earlier, I mentioned it because you asked what I was doing tomorrow, and that's what I'm doing tomorrow.
Well, still, you brought it up. You could have just said,
"God forbid,
getting drunk."
The question, Steve.
Yeah. But no, that's a long way to say if I was playing bats, it would be some Miami here.
Okay, Redman's upset. Get over it, Redman. And then he's 15 minutes behind. And then Tony dropping F-bombs here. Jason, see, I'm telling you guys, little Oakland Mini, dude. That's exactly what it is. Like button to be great. Tony and JSU are going to be hosting the NBA Showdown show for Game 4 of the NBA Finals. We do Showdown better than anybody. That I could say 100% factual. So check that show out if you're a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, Summer 33 is the code for you to sign up so you can check that show out tonight. First payment, 33% off. It's not just for monthly deals, it's for weekly as well. So if you have not tried out the product, check it out, Summer 33. And that puts all the pressure on Tony and JSU to deliver the best scores out there so we can all ship tonight. Let's move on to Cincinnati, St. Louis. Boys, Jordan Montgomery and Blake Lively. DC is a couple of
Lively's pitching. All right.
Blake Ben Lively, excuse me. Who's Blake Lively? That's a hot girl, right?
Yeah, like from the town, the blonde.
Okay, yeah. Ben Lively or Blake Lively. Anyways, this is Ben DC. So what do we got for the Lively?
Yeah, Lively, no Mariah, but this game.
She's cute. She's beautiful, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, she's married to Ryan Reynolds, so she's out of our league. Keep going, please.
As if her marriage status didn't put her out of the league. No, not interested in these offenses really. Cincinnati out of their home park into St. Louis. Not going there against Jordan Montgomery, who I don't really expect to put up a big number either. And then Mr. Ben Lively, can't see playing him here, but pretty lukewarm on the St. Louis offense as well. So, yeah, pretty much a pass.
Boynton.
It's a pass for me, too. I do have more interest on the red side just because of how this team has been hitting left-handed pitching lately. They've got 9 right-handed bats in the lineup. I know our guy, K. Fallick, likes the Reds here. The lineup does look just way better than it did a couple weeks ago. So, and it is warm in St. Louis. So, pitchers park usually, but honestly, where we don't have extreme heat, 80 degrees in St. Louis isn't the worst spot for bats. So, it would be Reds or pass for me.
Reds are pass. Okay, we got 3 more games. DC, how popular is the San Diego, Colorado game tonight? I mean, you're talking about altitude plus Austin Gomber, so that can't be nice. I like Darvish. I'm just not getting to him tonight. After listening to you guys, I'm going Perez and Allen. So how popular are the Padres, and how much Padres do you have? And last question, let's start with this. How popular is Gary Sanchez tonight, the Sanchino?
He should be pretty popular, hitting cleanup against Austin Gomber.
Yeah.
I had to double check. Big T, he said if I wanted to continue to be employed here at the great company of Frontier Sports, I'm no longer allowed to stack against Kyle Freeland, but Austin Gomber, I guess I'm allowed.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
It's good advice. Don't stack against
Well, I
Freeland.
get too mixed up because I'm the same pitcher, but Austin Gomber we can stack against. So, yeah, I mean, on the Padres here, Gary Sanchez does look like a great play. I'm not playing Yu Darvish in Coors Field, but I'm also not going to the Rockies here. So short and sweet. Yeah, if you're playing Padres, like usually is the case in Coors Field, I think you just want to stack them up, right? You probably need 5 of them because otherwise if you play 2 or 3 or 4, you're competing against all these 5-man stacks. So I think it makes more sense to get in there with them and play 5 Padres if you're going there.
What are we doing at Coors tonight, Boynton?
Yeah, I don't play Coors too often. I am on the Padres here. Gomber's just been so undeniably bad, especially at home. Just hard to ignore completely. What I usually do is just limit it to secondary stacks, the 3-mans, and load up elsewhere. I do think that is a good way to go here. The stack's kind of expensive. So, if you're in on the Smith Shavers, the Logan Allens of the world, then you can go up and get your Tatises, your Sotos, your Machados. Darvish is at 8K. He's pitched well at Coors in his career.
Don't do it, Steve.
But I'm not going there on a 13-game slate. But since I do have that hesitation, no Rockies here for me. It's Padres, and I'm a bit reluctant to, but I just don't love a ton of spots on this big slate. So hard to ignore the 6.4 team total entirely.
Okay. Is it too chalky to take the Sanchino as a home run shot tonight? Because I can find somebody else if I need to.
You take whoever you want.
All right. Very good. Seattle and the Angels. Ohtani and Castillo. Quick pass here, DC.
Yeah, I think both pitchers are in play. I do prefer the Ohtani side, but I did not get anywhere close to clicking in a hitter on either side of this game.
Okay. Boynton, what do you got? Seattle and the Angels.
I've got both pitchers in my core.
So we'll finish it up with the Cubs and the Gigantes tonight in San Francisco. Let me see if this lineup's still not out, is it? All right. Stroman, DeSclafani. Do we really need to go here, DC? Because I don't think so.
No, I think we can kind of write off these 2 last West Coast games. If it's one of these offenses that's on the winner, it won't be from me or Steve or, frankly, I mean, all these offenses are going to be like 1% owned. So if you want to take that route, I get it. Other than that, I really can't make a case for the Giants, the Cubs, the Angels, or the Mariners.
What you got, Steve? Last game of the night.
Yeah, same here. These pitchers are not strikeout guys. I mean, Stroman's been really good this year, but just doesn't have the upside for his price. DeSclafani's got the lowest strikeout rate on a 13-game slate at 13.9%. He has a lower strikeout rate than Gomber and Hauser. So that is what took them out of the running for arms. And then, just bats in San Fran on a 13-game slate. 2 teams that are kind of scuffling a bit, especially the Cubs. They've been really bad. No bats here.
Okay, that'll do it. We're going to get to our plays of the day. Then I want to remind you actually, that Tony and JSU, Big T and JSU, NBA Showdown show, 30 minutes away. Got to be a subscriber, Summer 33. If if you want to watch that show and get all the content for the NBA Showdown slate tonight. So that's the first thing to tell you about. Second thing to tell you about is I can't find the goddamn plays of the day thing. You guys even see it? I don't even see it in here. So, oh well, bummer, dude. Let's just talk about the plays of the day. Steve Boynton, what is your play of the day?
I'll go with someone that's a bit off the board. He's my dong call on the site, the premium dong call. Getting the start against the lefty in Philly. Prospect Johnny DeLuca with power against lefties.
Ooh.
Probably only get 2 or 3 at bats. So it's a longer shot. I think he's like, I'll pull up his odds while you guys are talking. But
okay.
Johnny DeLuca is going deep tonight. DC,
who's hitting a dong or who's your player of the night?
RPS hero from last year has cost us money so far this year, but we're riding this one all the way to the top, up to the 5K price tag that he deserves. Mr. Michael Harris II, getting hot these last 2 games. It was a matter of time for this guy, and I think with the confidence coming back out of the 9-hole where he does his damage, what is he? 3K even.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I like a little 8-9, and that's that.
The reach around AP special Braves stats are looking nice for the next couple weeks.
You know what I never want to see though is like the AP reach around special graphic, because I don't need to see that. So helmet, make sure we never.
Make sure Holden's featured in it.
Yeah, I do not want to.
I think we actually do need that.
Maybe I am. Who knows? Who knows? I'm confident. Yeah, give me the Sanchino, Gary Sanchez, and then Kush the Mush play, because I didn't make a video today. We're going with the Heat money line. It's down to 130 now, though, so it's not 140 anymore. But I'll go with
them. You're going with the Heat to win this game in Denver.
I don't want them to win this game. I think they're winning this game, and then Denver's going to win the next 2.
You're ashamed of yourself.
I'm not ashamed of myself
for a lot of reasons, but especially
I just think the Heat are a lot of reasons.
So DC, I think he's like twisting himself in knots with this fade me, but he's doing.
We talked about it yesterday. Right? It's the ultimate. It's the ultimate seesaw. Yeah. But once I get
like
to like 2 or 3,
that you have built in.
once I start getting to negative units, then you know that it's time to hop on. And that's about it. All right, guys, that was fun. Coming up, 25 minutes, JSU, Big T. Well, probably they're scheduled for 25 minutes. I'm sure it'll be like 30, 35, but that's coming up. We've got Oakland money line, huh? Parlayed with the Heat. All right, Eric's going out on a limb there. He's dropping his piece out.
Eric, if you want my Venmo, slide on in.
Eric, if he's asking for the Venmo, you got a chance to win this thing. That's all I'm saying. You got a chance, buddy. It was a great show, Scary Creations. Damn straight it was. For Steve Boynton, for DC, sign up for the site if you haven't already. I'm Holden. Keep running pure.